everybody. I'm so excited to be again with you from the city of Atlanta with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, who has been working on the immigration field for over 45 years, which is awesome. And not many people know how to stay working on the immigration field. They move out to other stuff, to other branch of the law because they are not. Ready to deal with emotions, with separation, sometimes with fighting for families. And some attorneys, I have to be honest, they just want to fight for something that is easy, is money, and that's it. But when we talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong, we hear a person that has experience, that has been fighting, and that encourages you to keep fighting for your right and to have an immigration relief here in the United States. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for being with us today. How are you doing?
I'm very good, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for coming to Atlanta. And well, let's start with one of the questions that I think people are more concerned about, and is still about the delays that we are having in the immigration court, in the applications with the um, immigration system.
Mhm.
Do you think this is going to improve anytime soon?
I don't think it will improve anytime soon. Right now, there's a lot of people coming up from the southern border. It's like whatever President Biden does, he was complained about. So the more people who came up, the more slow our system is working, because right now America is poor with all those COVID, AIDS, um, the reduction in tax. Also, for example, in New York, they're losing a lot of population, but
Yeah.
the welfare rolls are going up. So it's just a difficult time for American immigration world.
Well, and also we have looked what they have called the global migration, which is people from everywhere trying to go everywhere.
Mhm,
Is like a Japanese is trying to go to Europe.
mhm.
Europeans are trying to come to America. Americans are now going to Europe, and it's difficult to understand what is going on in the world right now because we cannot find a place where we are.
Mhm,
If I was born in Venezuela, what am I doing in the United States? But
mhm.
everything makes sense if we put it in a context that we are looking for a better future for our kids. But talking about that, Ms. Wong, um, in the southern border, when people come in, what are their chances of starting a case, starting an application, let's say for asylum or any other kind of application?
Mhm. Right now, my trend observation, because I do a lot of cases every day. Every day, I talk to people. I read up on cases. My whole life is about immigration. Is most of the people who came up, they already have relatives here. They may not be husband, wives, or children, but most of them already have relatives here. So it's not like they come, like when I came to America in 1969, I came with a little sister. We went to school, we had a scholarship. So now times are different. It's instead of waiting like, for example, if you're from Mexico, it takes 20 years. If your mother is a citizen, El Salvador, one. Even then, if you are here, it takes only 6 to 9 months to get work permits and green card. But if you're overseas, because all the American embassy is so busy now, that it takes about even 3 years, 2 years to get a tourist visa. And normally those tourist visas are denied. They are really very much more for the upper middle class. Like it's very hard to get visas. So people are not willing to wait, especially young people. I still remember when I came to America in 69, my visa was like denied 3 times. I
Wow.
remember exactly, there was a young man, blonde, because in those days I didn't know what a blonde, because in Hong Kong, we really are not very color, like Indians are considered Black, but we respect the Indians because Indians are very successful in Hong Kong in those days. And so I still remember this American person, very young, um, could not be a lot older than I was. I was like 18, 19. So the minute that he approved, because I didn't have enough support, so I have my mother to go back, other people to give me a financial support. So I still remember when he approved. For him, it's just a day's job, I guess. And I always felt that I should write a letter to thank him. But I still remember when he approved, he didn't even look at me. He just signed something. But for me, it's like the best moment in my life. I mean, aside from getting married, falling in love with my husband, um, passing the bar exam. I mean, those are all, passages that a lot of us professional people go through. But I still remember that look and how I feel. So don't give up. Keep applying for those visas. But right now is not a good time to come up illegally. It's very, very dangerous on the way. I don't know how those rumors are spreading, say it's very easy. And there's really a lot of murders and deaths, and people don't even report for the brokers to make the money, they need the people to be here to get paid. So it's sort of not a good time.
Yes, and now that you mentioned that, Miss Wong, I'm just remembering that when I went to the American embassy in my country, there was a Chinese guy in front of me. I don't know if he was born in China or if he was born in Venezuela, but with Chinese parents. The thing is that um, Chinese people in Venezuela, they have a lot of money. In general, they have a lot of money. They have businesses, and they are hardworking people. So when he went there, the lady in front of the window, she was very nice. She was smiling, and then he gave all what she requested from him, and then she said, "I'm sorry, your visa has been denied." And he was trying to understand, and then the next was me. So if she denied him, how could I feel? Because she was smiling to him and she was nice to him, and she said no. And then I'm next, and I'm thinking, okay, if she denied him, what can I expect? But I was lucky, I was blessed that she didn't even ask me any questions. She just put the stamp on my passport and she said, "Your visa is approved. You will be or has been granted." I think is the word. And then they just gave me the visa. I don't know why. I don't. I didn't do anything to deserve it. I didn't have a lot of money in my account. I didn't have properties. I didn't have attachments to my country. But she just approved the visa.
God
So
is with us. Yes.
yeah. So it is, but the feeling is weird because you made it, but you don't believe that you made it.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Ms.
That's
Wong,
right.
for sharing your heart and your thoughts about all of your experiences. So this person is telling us, "Hi, I have DACA. I have a bachelor's degree. I am married to an U.S. citizen, and we have a 2-year-old daughter. I entered through the border with my parents when I was a kid. I was born in Mexico. And I've been told that I can apply for advanced parole, but I'm afraid that I could not come back as my daughter is a baby and we are paying for a house that we just purchased. Do you recommend me that I could apply for the advanced parole?" And
Absolutely apply for parole. If they don't grant it, you probably then God is telling us you should not go. But parole nowadays is granted. Actually, we have a lot of mail in our office. So every day I look at our mail and I'll ask our caseworker, how come this parole is only granted 3 months? How come this parole is granted for 2 years? How come this parole is only granted for 1 year? So we always compare notes like DACA parole is only for that period. Green card parole, especially on Wawa cases, is good for 2 years. Green card parole on regular marriage cases 1 year. And if you came illegally on a marriage case, then normally don't even grant parole. So these are things that people like us, that's my profession, that's my job, I need to know all this. So for your question, absolutely do parole. and you should be able to come back. Let me explain to you why. The fact that you already got DACA means that you came to America before the age of 15, 16. You probably never left and come back. You just came when you were probably 2, 3, 5, 10 years old. You never left and come back. Even if you did, they did not have fingerprint. They do not take ICE do not take fingerprint for people that came undocumented, normally before the age of 12, which means that if they came before 12, even if you have a perm bar, they would not have kept your fingerprints. But most of my DACA kids, they normally just came once, never were deported, have no criminal record because if you have, you won't get DACA with a criminal record. So my advice that I know we all have our fear. We all have things that we don't want to go back to and we don't want to remember. But do get the parole. Don't even worry about going. Once you get parole, all you need is that parole, that DACA cards, and an unexpired passport, and you should be able to come back. And you're scared, just go to a Mexican resort by the airport, come back, and now you do direct adjustment of status with the wife. And don't be scared. You'll be fine, kiddo. You'll be fine. You yourself is a parent now, and you were a kid when you came, so it's very
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah.
he's already 30 years old.
Good.
So
That's a kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for this question. Don't forget that you can call 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Today, Miss Wong is in Atlanta. Tomorrow, she is going to be in the city of Columbus, Ohio. And she has offices in Cleveland, in Columbus, Chicago, Memphis, Minneapolis, Atlanta, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina, and Minneapolis as well. And the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Um, I have been waiting for the asylum interview since 2016 and nothing happens. And I'm seeing the news and hearing from friends that people who are just crossing the border are getting the interviews faster. How can I speed up or accelerate my interview? Thank you.
I don't know where you live, but if you live in a bigger city like New York, the asylum interview is going so slow. It also depends on what country you're from. If I were you, it depends. If you feel you have a really good case, then you push for the asylum interview. If you feel you don't have a good case, I would not push for the interview, because once you get interviewed, first they normally, like Chicago, they give you a waiver letter. So I always advise my clients, absolutely do not sign the interview waiver letter, because we want to go to interview, we want to present our stories. Same with you. So if you have a good case, you could push for, all you have to do is to write a letter to the receipt notice place or call them or go to a congressional, a senator's office or write them a letter. They'll help you push it. But do think carefully. Do you want to push your case? Chinese are risk takers. So if you feel you can win, push it. But interviews normally result in referral to court. Now you go to court and depends on the judge. Did he have a good lunch? Was he happy that day? It's really not a good situation when you go into litigation. That's what we call litigation. So you could win, you could lose. If you win 1 year later, you apply for green card. If you lose, you can do an appeal. But why take all that chance when you are enjoying your work permit? And also, it depends on if you file your asylum within a year. What's the ground? Remember, we have a lot of cases where a man is stalking a woman. They report the police did not do anything. A mere act of violence itself is not a ground for asylum. Asylum means that it's the inability of the country to support you or to protect its citizens, or the underfunding of the police department to protect the citizens, because most of the police stations in country like ours, they're 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 hours away, and you have to walk there because there's no car. Because normally people live in a village with 10 houses, 50 houses, 100 houses. They don't even know where. We have clients who are 25 years old when they come to America. They never saw police their whole life. So how do you expect them, when they were raped by someone, to call the police? That's why when the judge asks, why didn't you call the police? They will say, oh, because they are together on this. But the correct answer is the police station is so far away. I've never even met a policeman. I still remember when I was young, I'm scared of policemen. Oh my gosh, don't. We don't see them. We don't want them. Like in America, we call 911. We want them to come, to introduce them to
Yeah.
us to protect the victims. That's not how foreign countries work, and we all know it. So these are things that it doesn't hurt on asylum cases to talk to a good lawyer. So a lawyer can actually, we cannot tell you what to say, but at least we can give you the law on asylum. Laws on asylum is weird. It's not just, oh, my ex-husband beat me up, uh, doesn't give me food, and bring rich. We actually have a case like that. Like every time he lose a game, he'll bring other men to come. He lose money. He use other men to have sex with me. Doesn't have to pay. So these are
Wow.
things that. Did you report to police? If not, why not? Of course, there's no consent, but you were so scared. So these are cases where you have to develop it into, is it because of race, religion, political opinion, member of a special group, and there are five of them, right? Or nationality. So we need, and also indigenous is another good ground. You speak another language, you only went through third grade, because and there's a lot of incest and totally underfunding of the police people in indigenous areas. On the other hand, indigenous land is very wealthy because they have a lot of good minerals, good things down in the soil. So the people are fighting for these indigenous land. And sometimes they'll put drugs into a man or girl's body just to they lose a bet or something. I don't know. But I'm just telling you the stories I've heard. So asylum really is a lot of fun if you have a good case and you can make it better, develop it, not to lie about it, but develop the story into something that it fits or you could win. I believe in a lot of these cases you could win. You just need time to develop the story and think about it and not just complain, oh, immigration is leading me on, they're too slow, they do. No, you fight your battle. Nobody gives you a right to stay in America. We fight for it. And then we felt we earned it.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And this is a very true answer. Um, it's not that someone wants to lead us on, is sometimes we just need to be patient. If we had the chance to make it here, if we had the chance to come to the United States, why are we in such a hurry? We made it here.
Mhm.
So after that, and some people say, I want to travel outside of the United States. Okay, you can go to the Grand Canyon, you can go to Niagara Falls, you can go to Florida, you can go to New York. There's a lot of places that you can go here.
Mhm.
Why go to another country just because you want to go? Start by knowing the country that you are at without getting in trouble. So
Mhm.
is in Spanish we say, the grass on the other side of the fence looks greener than my grass.
That's right. We have
And
that in Chinese too, and in
yeah,
English, yeah, same thing.
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
I just made it in English. I don't know how it goes, but thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The next question is, I applied for the renewal of my tourist visa, but it was denied because even though I am 31, I'm not married and I don't have children. So I was told that if my circumstances change to apply again. That happened 2 weeks ago. Now I'm having an appointment for a student visa because I want to apply for a scholarship. With the denial of my tourist visa, uh, would this affect my student visa
Back to you.
interview?
Yeah. So that's two issues. Number one, normally I always advise people that if you have the tourist visa denied, maybe wait a little bit before you do the student visa, because tourist visa and student visa have the same reason. It's a sole intent. So what is sole intent? That means your intent is to go to America to visit with relatives and friends or to go to Disney World. It's really to visit, and it's not to work or to go to school. But the intent is always a non-immigrant visa intent, what we call 214B. F1 visa is the same issue. The issue is you go to America to study in the same school. If the school I-20 is issued by Georgia, you're going to Georgia. You cannot immediately go to a New York school. You have to come to this school and ask for a blessing, a transfer to go to another school. So if my visa was denied only 2 or 3 weeks ago, did he say what country? Probably not. Huh? Yeah. So,
No,
so
it
he
doesn't
didn't
say.
say what country. Right now, it's always easier to apply for student visa first than tourist visa, because tourist visa you have to wait for a long time because of COVID and not opening. So, and I'm surprised to see this kid did the tourist visa first, and he's 31 years old, 30. I would have done a student visa because American University want our tuition because they charge foreign student more money, especially if you can get a scholarship. That's awesome because then the American embassy knows that you're a smart kid, because dumb kids we don't get scholarships. So I would wait for a little bit
It's from
because
Honduras.
Honduras. Okay, so actually that means the family is not that poor, because poor people they couldn't get I-20, so he already have a schedule for I-20. So but these are issues. So I may want, if I were you, I'll wait. I would have done the F1, but you can never make changes in your history. Don't feel bad. Just apply again and go from there.
Okay, and that's very true. You just need to apply again. If I can tell you another testimony, a person that I know applied on 2003, and his application was denied, and then he applied again on 2015 and he was approved.
Good.
So it was 12 years later. The first time he was just graduating from the college, and he didn't have any convenience or attachments to the country. But then on 2015, they approved his tourist
Hmm.
visa. So it's something that you could um, try to reapply, and if your circumstances change, or if you can do the student visa, just call the office of the attorney Margaret W. Wong, and she will be happy to help you. So the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. So Ms. Wong, this next question says, I am from Venezuela. um, well, the person is adding this. She got the I-20 already, and the interview is next week.
Ooh. Okay, so I wonder why you got the tourist visa denied only 2 weeks ago, because why didn't you wait for the I-20 and then do the student visa first and was approved? Student visa always easier. And another question answer for the audience. The audience probably asks, why did she say she's single, she has no children? Because anytime you apply for tourist visa, as Americans, we are very lucky. You can go to Paris, you can go to Russia and go to China with no visa, unless you're staying there to work or to, longer period. But as any foreign person, we need a visa to come to America. So this lady is from Honduras. If I were her, I would also put down the date of the application of the tourist visa, the date of the interview of the tourist visa, the date of the application of the I-20, the date of the issuance of the I-20, the date of the receipt of the I-20 from her in Honduras, because normally they get Federal Express or USPS, but still takes 10, 15 days. You need to look at it, because if you already applied for the student visa with your transcripts and the acceptance, that process takes about 2 or 3 months. But in the meantime, you also made an appointment to be a student. That's a problem. So I think before 2 weeks, um, if you're listening to me now, make sure you know all this. They're going to ask. I mean, if I were the officer, I would be interested to know. I mean, if anything, life is very boring. They just approve or deny. They would ask, "Oh, your visa was just denied 2 weeks. Do you remember when was that?" And oh, by the way, when did you apply for acceptance? Well, look for universities, because most students they don't apply to one and get accepted to one. They apply for 5 or 10 colleges. They accept one. When did you apply? So you need to look at these dates, because the last thing you need is the application date or your transfer request date is prior to your application, because both of them use DS-160. So, and why so fast? It may be that you already got the I-20, but you didn't want to wait and you apply for student visa, because on the form they ask, do you intend to work? You say no. Do you intend to study? You say no. Wait, then you already applied for a school and was accepted to school. Why didn't you? These are the two things that, as a lawyer, as an officer, I would look at, because those people have nothing better to do than to ask you stupid questions. These are not stupid questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. The next is just a comment. Ms. Wong, I just happen to love you, and I love that you have a very kind heart. Thank you for being you. This is Tasha McDonald.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this message. And this person says, I am from Venezuela, and my asylum interview will be in 2 weeks. I crossed the border last month. Do I need a lawyer for this interview?
It depends. It could be just a fear. I shouldn't say just. No interview is just. I don't I don't know if you filed a 589. Did you take fingerprints? Because that seemed a lot faster. Because fingerprints, a receipt notice is taking 1.5 weeks to 3 weeks. But Biden did come up with something, but he did. They all say it every year that anybody who came after May of 2022, they want to finish all the adjudication process. That means the interview and the judge in less than 6 months. So if you only came 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you filed the asylum in jail, because that seemed really fast. Because normally they want you to report to ICE in about 3 or 4 weeks, because at that time you probably don't know where you'll be living. So they always say, go report to the ICE office next to you, and they give you a list of all the ICE officers. So if I were you, I would get a good lawyer who does asylum, because some lawyers don't do asylum. In fact, some lawyers sort of don't like asylum because they feel only the poor people. Because America is not a land of asylum until the past 10, 15 years. Because before then, normally we do the perms to get green card, we do H-1Bs to get green card, we do J-1s, we do O-1s. So that's a lot of employment base. If money is not tight, I would use a lawyer, because asylum is getting harder and harder. And if you could pass the first round, why not? It's worth everything. But if not, you go to the second round. So when you say interview, maybe it's not even an interview, maybe it's an ICE visit, because they do ask you to report to ICE in the middle of 1 or 2 weeks. But if it's an interview, ICE, you don't need a lawyer. Interview, you need a lawyer.
Okay, that's perfect. And thank you so much, Ms. Wong. The phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Our time is up, Ms. Wong. Thank you so much for having us today. In 3 weeks, we're going to have Ms. Wong here back in Atlanta, so you can make your appointment. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. And you can also see here in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for all what you do. And just let's give her a call, 216-279-3984. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong.
Thank you. Thank you.